got a new video. I got a new video. Alesia Michelle, I'm ready to go. Eurovision fam, are you ready for the show? Hey Eurovision fam, it's Alesia, and today was day one of rehearsals here in Lisbon, Portugal. So today we basically had the first half of semifinal one, yes, the semifinal of death, go up today. So let's break it down. I'm gonna give you my thoughts. We're kicking it off with Azerbaijan, and now full disclosure, I didn't get to see the full performance because the TV wasn't working, so I couldn't see it, but I did hear her. And she sounded great. And then finally, the clips that I did see of her performing, I mean, she looked good. And I would probably say that Izel has the best styling that I personally saw today. I mean, she looks great. I love the fact that they're playing with white. I mean, like, she really pops on the stage. Now, as many of you know, I'm not a huge fan of Azerbaijan's song this year, but I will say the staging has elevated it. And I think that that's something that we expected to have happen. I mean, it's Azerbaijan, like, they know what they're doing. They kind of get this whole Eurovision thing, and it was just really tight. It was really cohesive and just professional. Now, here are the critiques. Now, you guys know I want everyone to do their best, and that's why I give the comments that I give. It's not because I'm trying to hate on an entry. It's not because I'm trying to point out flaws per se. I want to give each act some constructive criticism, because at the end of the day, I want every country to do their best. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Everyone should shine, you know what I'm saying? I will say this, Izel, and I've noticed this about her as a performer, even in the videos I've seen of the pre-parties, I don't know if she feels really comfortable on stage. There's a level of her feeling stiff, and the choreography in the number is already kind of strong and stiff, and it's like that on purpose, but I definitely don't think it's doing her any favors per se. I want basically her to be as natural and as flowy as her hair and her costume. I don't think that that's a lot to ask. I just think she needs to feel more comfortable on stage, and there's just a level of her being very stoic almost, and it's crazy for her to be so stoic with a song that I find to be really, really accessible. So next up today we had Iceland. You know, Iceland really needed their staging to be good. They really needed their staging to be thoughtful and elevated. Okay, at minimum, let's just put on a good show. But look, I have to be real with y'all. The song is already sounding like 1995, and unfortunately the staging looks like Eurovision 1995, and it's really unfortunate. And the thing is he's wearing this suit that has kind of this embroidery thing on it, and no, it's like he's a young dude, you know? He's a young guy, and I just wish we would just let him be a young guy, and let's just find him a nice, plain, tailored suit. At minimum, you know, he could look good and current. But the suit that he has on, it's got it's like a pattern on it. It looks, I don't know. I just think a plain tailored suit would have been better. Albania, I mean, look, Eugen sounded awesome, but of course he sounded good. I mean, we knew he was going to sound good. He is a vocalist, he is a singer. So he sounded great. The staging is very, very straightforward, you know, it's nothing really popping out. I didn't see any pyro, at least today, but I tell you what I did see a guitarist with some crazy hair in the background distracting, and I just don't understand this. This is a performance about Eugen, and although yes, there is a band backing him up, you know, this guitarist, I'm gonna just need him to pull his hair back. On all that is holy, please pull your hair back, because it's just distracting. I want to focus on Eugen, his great vocals. I mean, Albania has a really good song this year. I don't think they're being helped by that guitarist with the big hair in the background, because it was distracting. I mean, I should be talking more about Eugen, but I'm talking about that guitarist with the big hair in the background. Next up, we had Belgium. Now, I told you in my qualification prediction video that I was slightly concerned about Belgium, just because everything really does rely so heavily on the vocal presentation and the staging. So today at least we got a little bit of a preview with the staging. So here's the thing, she sounds good. I know there were questions about her vocal. I didn't really have so many questions about her vocal. I figured by the time she gets here, you know, she will be vocally prepared and ready to deliver this song. I don't think people want to have bum notes on stage, so I wasn't expecting the vocal to be disappointing, but I will say this, I was expecting the styling to elevate as well, because so much about this act is just class and kind of modernity. In my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2018 video, I pointed out that I did not want to see any translucent mesh dresses, and she's got a translucent mesh dress on. Now the dress is actually not that bad, so I can take it back a little bit. But what is unfortunate is that we end up missing her on stage. We end up losing her because the dress is black, her pants are black, and then the background is still sort of black, and then we lose her, and that's so unfortunate because the song really is so much about her, and so much of the staging is focused on her. It's not like we have any dancers, it's not like we have pyro to look at, we don't have any LEDs, we need to focus on her. And when we get these wide shots of the stage, we lose her because the background is black, and then she's wearing a black outfit, and she does fade, and she needs to pop. There's nothing wrong with that. Girl, we want to see you. Pop, come on. In her press conference, she was actually asked about the dress, and it was kind of interesting because she definitely said that the dress was staying, but she did say that the lighting was going to be tweaked. So I hope that lighting is going to be some strong lighting so that we can actually see her. And another thing she mentioned was she wanted to go with this black and white theme. But girl, where was the white? I didn't see any contrast. All I saw was a lot of darkness. And there's nothing wrong with darkness, but if you're going to do these wide shots, we need to have some pops, because she just needs to stand out more. That's really what needs to happen. But all in all, I mean, she sounded good. I still think Belgium's going to qualify, so good job, Belgium. Next up, we have Czech Republic. Now, Czech Republic is one of my favorites. It's in my top 10. Now, the rehearsal was a little bit shaky in the sense that it felt very much so like a rehearsal. And there's nothing wrong with that, because guess what? It was a rehearsal, so I'm not so much worried because of that. What does concern me is the fact that these camera angles are just not tight and fast enough. I feel like what was happening on stage was great. I actually really liked it, what was going on. Now what we need is just the camera angles and kind of the technical aspects of it to really make the performance. Mikolas sounded good to me. I know he's gonna sound good on the night of. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about any bum notes from him, so that's good. But right now, it's just like the song is so upbeat, it's so crisp, and the staging, like I said, is really good. Now we just need those like tight camera angles to really enhance and kind of take on the essence of the performance itself. I mean, even in the music video, he had a lot of tight shots and really like kind of jump shots as well. So we need a little bit more of that. But all in all, I don't feel underwhelmed by Czech Republic. I think they're going to deliver. So good job, Czech Republic. So next up we have Lithuania, and guys, I'm going to admit it to you, Lithuania was really good today. Honestly, watching Lithuania in this rehearsal, I'm like, okay, Lithuania might actually qualify. The staging was just really, really thoughtful. Everything felt intentional. Now I have one note. There are these augmented reality people who kind of appear next to her. I personally don't think that it's necessary. I think that we can actually keep this performance pretty simple. I think just make it about her. The vocal was good. Yeah, the staging was just really, really thoughtful. And like I said, it was one of my biggest growers essentially just off of this rehearsal, because before, if you've watched my videos before, I was kind of like, is Lithuania gonna qualify? I don't know, it might be too sleepy. But looking at the staging, it was just really thoughtful, and it was a standout today when it came to rehearsals. It definitely a standout. Now I will say this, there is a moment at the end of the performance where this man kind of appears and they meet, and it was so cute, and in my mind I was thinking, oh my gosh, is this her husband? Like, did her husband just show up? But apparently it's not her husband. So I will say this, where is her husband, and why can't we just have her show up with her husband at the end? I think that would be a really great moment. I think it would be really touching, and yeah, that's my opinion on that. You've probably heard from other people and you might be thinking like, is it true? Is it true? Look, Israel's first rehearsal was definitely a rehearsal. No one was really dancing full out, and Netta sounded great, but I do think she was still like minding her voice, which I think is what you should do in a rehearsal. But I will say, when it comes down to the staging, I was slightly underwhelmed with what we saw on stage. You know, this is a party song and we need that party to be recreated. And it's the same thing that I said with Czech Republic, which is that like, we need tighter shots, we need tight camera angles, we need there to be some like action in what's being broadcasted, because at the end of the day, not everyone is going to be able to be in the arena, and you kind of have to create that emotion in the camera shots. So I just felt like we needed some tighter camera angles. Like, there were moments where the dancers were dancing and you could see all three of them dancing together, and I actually was like, oh no, like we could just get their faces, or we could just get like a close shot of their bodies. I just think some tighter camera shots would kind of up the energy a little bit more. But I still think Israel's gonna qualify. I don't think Israel has anything to worry about. The song is still great. Yeah, I want more tight camera shots. Now, in my 10 things I don't want to see at Eurovision 2018 video, I did talk about Harajuku styling. Now Netta is going to be doing not only Harajuku styling, but there's also like some Asian inspired decorations in the background. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not really a fan of that. I just don't understand why. I think why is because she's a fan of K-pop, but I think at the end of the day, like, you're representing Israel, and I just think this is an opportunity to like show your culture. I think this is an opportunity to represent Israel, and there's nothing wrong with being influenced by other genres and being influenced by music from other cultures and countries, but I do think the Harajuku styling just takes away a little bit. I don't know, I would like different styling, but they're not gonna change that. And at the end of the day, homegirl still sounds good and she still looks good. I just wish she had on a different dress, I guess. I guess that's where I'm at. Belarus. Okay. I don't know how I feel about Belarus right now, because Belarus was basically giving us everything. And I don't know if you're familiar with this expression, but it's like all dollars, not a lot of cents. The performance seems expensive. It's a lot. It's different. Belarus is gonna stand out. There's some things in there, like, I don't even really want to tell you what happens on stage because I just feel so conflicted about it. There's a dancer in it, which I like, but there's this kind of story, I guess they're trying to tell, with him being like this Rico Suave, almost like heartbroken Romeo thing. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know if that's what people at home are gonna gravitate towards, but I will say this. I feel like a lot of the other countries are kind of playing it safe with their staging, and Belarus is just like, let's have fun. This is Eurovision, and that I want to applaud. So we'll go with that. I'm still very hopeful for Estonia. I think this song is a moment. Like I said, I just want everyone to do their best. That's all. And maybe this is just a note for everyone. I keep bringing it up. So maybe like some tighter angles, maybe just across the board for everybody would be really, really helpful. And another thing, you know, the dress is not filling the stage. And remember at the national selection, they had these really cool camera angles where it was almost like they were catching her diagonally and her movements were queued up with the movements of the dress. We need more of that. Now we're gonna go to my number one, and it should be your number one too. Just kidding. No, Bulgaria. Y'all already know that I love Bulgaria this year. I think the song is just really strong. I think the vocalists are all really strong in their own right. And when they come together, it's quality and it's clean. And so really all they had to do was perform this song well and have some really thoughtful staging. And I'm gonna cut the suspense. They gave us just that. Look, I said this in 2016 with Polly Genova, that she was coming in there looking like an interval act. It was something about when Polly Genova came out 2016, the stage looked totally different than the way it did from the other artists. And it's like, yeah, she just like looked like an interval act coming in and being like, oh, okay, y'all competing in this little thing, like I'm just gonna do my song and like show out. And Bulgaria is doing it again this year, honestly. The staging is great. I will say, like if I had one note, the sound mixing, they have this ethnic kind of backing vocalist, and it's really cool. I like it. I kind of like this voice from the beyond kind of coming out. I think it's really great, but I think it needs to sound like a voice from the beyond. And I just think I'd add a little bit more echo and turn down the mic a little bit more, because at the end of the day, it is that voice from beyond. I love it. It makes sense for it to be there, but it doesn't make sense for it to be as loud as it is, because we have a group performing. You just have to be really mindful about sound mixing. And this is obviously not a note for the performers. This is a note for the technical team. I think they have to be really, really thoughtful about this sound mixing, and they have to look at it as if they were in a studio and adding the levels, because that is the art of sound engineering. I mean, Bulgaria, oh God, it was so good. It was really, really good. The styling to me is good. I like it. I'm not convinced with the Sia wig that Yana is wearing. I'm just not convinced, but I don't think it's distracting or anything like that. It's just, it's so Sia-esque that I think some people could draw comparisons that really don't need to be drawn, because this is a totally different thing. So I would have had like maybe a gray wig, or even like a color, like a blue or something like that, but y'all know I love colored hair. Kind of love colored hair, just saying. All in all today, Bulgaria was my overall winner. I would say that Lithuania is probably my second place of today. I think Lithuania really surprised me, and I just thought it was really thoughtful. I don't like the augmented reality things that show up during her performance, but I don't like them because I don't think she needs them. I think she can just be herself and shine, because yeah, I was really won over by Lithuania, and I mean, y'all have seen my other videos, so I'm willing to change my mind. I'm a woman. I'm allowed to change my mind, just saying. My third place for today, honestly, thinking about it from a staging perspective, is probably Azerbaijan, but I mean, they've got a team. They know how to do this Eurovision thing. So although I felt like Izel needs to warm up, loosen up a little bit more, and just maybe put more of herself into the performance, all in all, I mean, it was a clean, concise package. But I will say that my honorable mention for today is Belarus, because it was just so out of the box and different. And I'm about people taking risks. I mean, this is the Eurovision Song Contest. I want people to take risks. Well, those are my thoughts on the day one rehearsals. Tomorrow's got some heavy hitters too. Tomorrow's gonna be good. I've got high hopes. I always have high hopes. Yes, guys, it's gonna be a really, really tough semi. This is the semifinal of death. It's gonna be tough. Be sure to like this video if you like it, and of course, subscribe. Remember, I'm here in Lisbon, and I've got so much more content coming your way. Bye.